Hi everyone, I'm Antonio Castagnello and this is a walkthrough of my Max for Live device, Delay Board 1.0. It was developed for the MD5056 live electronic processing module as a creative tool for the live performance and studio use. In this video I'll show you what it does, how it works and how can you use it to manipulate audio in real time. Basically, the concept behind the delay board was to create an hands-on, performance-friendly delay unit that responded to MIDI keyboard. The goal was to make something fun and expressive while still being flexible enough for a deeper sound design. The device has two main modes, the instant delay and the hotspot mode. For live triggering of 4 custom delay, we can use the delay mode. Instead, the hotspot mode, where basically it's openable through this button, you can see the samples and play them and record them. But let's go with the interface of the main GUI. Then on the bottom here we have the white keys control. That are 4 separate delays. Pressing a white key activates its corresponding delay, and each white key has an edit button. Basically, you can hover over your mouse to adjust the settings, and underneath each white key there is also an on-off switch, this one, which lets you turn on and off the delay. Let's take a look at the delay one. Here you can select the audio input bus. The device supports 16, which is great for multi-channel project. We also have a flexible EQ section right here, where you can have a low pass filter, high pass filter, and peaks adjustable through the graphic EQ, and of course activable and disactivable in this way. On the right we have the control section. In the control section we have basically all the settings for the timing, ADSR, feedback control, and mix between the dry and the wet signal. These are buttons that are already synced with the project. So of course pressing the 1/4 note is gonna automatically select what is the right milliseconds for the tempo of your DAW. Of course you can use the free time to manipulate it as you want. ADSR is here because it's very useful in case opening the channel. You're going to be able to hear pops in case the attack is right at 0 milliseconds. So for this reason I generally could give an advice to keep it always at least at 10 milliseconds as a minimum, to don't listen the pops happening when you open the channel right away with the MIDI keyboard. Going ahead, we have the modulation tools. Right here they can work in parallel or they can work in series. When in parallel, the signal gets into each of these four effects, and the first one is simply the dry signal. The pitch shift is the second one, in which we have the quality selection here. We can decrease or increase with these two buttons. These two buttons are useful because they can be binded with your MIDI keyboard. And the glide, which selects the speed of the pitch shifting change. Next up we have the phaser, which has depth control, frequency or rate, and then gain. Of course the rate can be modulated with an LFO, which can be controlled right here. The LFO frequency decides the speed, and the spread decide the spread. And then frequency rate can be changed, and so on. Then the flanger, of course, with a center EQ in which center frequency from which it starts to plunge, and the wind on which the left and right channel gets amplified, rate, and regen. Basically, all of these effects can again work in parallel or in series. The only problem I found working in parallel that the pitch shift is slightly slower of a few milliseconds, and so basically when using the pitch shift it would be better to work in series. Going ahead, you can see the output selection, from which you can send the delay straight into well, the main output of the track, or into different auxiliary tracks that you can receive into another track into your DAW and affect as much as you want. Next one is going to be the hotspot, which with your mouse can be opened clicking on them, and on the left you can see the input selection. As we were talking about the delays, the 16 buses can be routed straight into your hotspot and recorded with this button. Of course, you can record wherever you want, but in the same time you can import from your computer or drop the file right here. In example, right here we have the whole harmonies of the song that I was trying to remix. So let's select a small piece, crop the selection, and play. It worked well. Basically, into the tools for the waveform we have the selection, crop selection, moving of the selection, moving and zooming of the view, and destructive, so be very careful with it, draw mode, so you can draw waves. Going ahead, we're going to talk about the black keys. The black keys are basically expression control for your delay board. They can route settings into your delays. So let's see what each one can do. Basically, opening it up, you are able to see three different controls, which is the recording, the pitch shifting, and the feedback. Basically, into this way I could record the hotspot 1 and move the delay 2 of one pitch up, and even set the feedback of the delay 2 to 0 at the same time, just pressing this button. And basically this is the useful of this effect, because you could have this key setting the feedback to 0 into each delay, and you could have, for example, this key having the feedback at 50%, for example, and so on and so on and so on. You could, for example, pitch shift with another and stop with the other, and the limitations are just your imagination. Going forward, we are gonna talk about the wheel controls. Basically, also the wheel control do control the settings of the delays. So in this case, we again can select what the pitch or the modulation wheel can do. On the left, you have the delay volume. So of course, controlling the volume of the delay 1 or 2 or 3 or 4. Same thing for the modulation. Can be done the same thing controlling the feedback of the 1, 2, 3, 4, and in the same way the pitch shift. So we can use the pitch wheel to shift up and down the the various delays. And now let's talk about some live performance use cases. In a live context, you might use the white key to trigger delays rhythmically and then use black keys to shift into the new delay state. For example, during a breakdown, I could enable just delay 3 with heavy feedback, then shift into a pitched version using a black key. And there are different kind of mode, but let's make an example. In this case, I've prepared the song with 5 tracks. They basically are all just the stems of a song that I made, which is reggae, and it's a very simple song. But thanks to this effect, I'm going to be able to make it more lively and more active. So let's make an example. Right now I've set that delay 1 is controlling the first 4 tracks of the instant delay. So basically it means that it is going to receive the first 4 tracks that I've sent into delay bus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Then I'm gonna to press this button, let through. The button let through basically let through the selection that you just selected. Basically this button is useful in case you want to listen or basically work with different things. You could even stop and press the let through the event and stop all the channels and so on. But let's go ahead. Delay 2. In delay 2 I've set the channel 9 and 10, simply the melodies of the song. So now I'm going to play the song and open the keys so that you can see. But anyway, I don't need to open them. In reality, it's just for me to be able to see what is happening in signal wise. But right now the let through is letting through all the channel, and when I press the key number 2, it's going to activate the delay 2. To wrap up, Delay Board is now at version 1.0, and I see it is a launchpad for deeper creative tool. But in future version, I might include much more